I'm able to do this, and here we are at the Great Mohegan Sun again. And man, just one step closer to continue to turn my dreams into reality and become the World Grand Prix champ. I see this as the semifinal title, but I know in the end result, I want to win it all. So I know it's gonna be there's two left that I need to go to win it all.
Yeah, and this is kind of a cross. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's a tournament. It's you're finally back at fighting for the title again. You're fighting the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in Bellator. So I saw one of your Instagram posts and I thought it was pretty interesting. It said the road less traveled hasn't been easy, but I'm still here. So how did you get back here? Like, what was I know that's a complicated question, but
after losing to Patricio the first time and not knowing what was going to happen and what I needed to do in order to get myself to that level again to fight for the world title, what kind of win streak I needed to go on, who I needed to defeat to get another crack at becoming world champion, to making my dream come true. And when the World Grand Prix was announced, I knew immediately. I was like, okay, we're going to see how it goes down. I was surprised and amazed that they announced 16 compared to welterweight and heavyweight. There was 8. And then you see it all, how it's all played out when it came to the whole 16 was announced, then the brackets were set for after the selection show, and I knew, and I'm in this position now, the hardest road to get to this position from right here compared to anyone else's road. I've had the hardest road that any fighter could have, going out and defeating someone who already had a victory over me in Daniel Weichel, and now having to face another man who has a victory over me in Patricio Pitbull. You can't write a better story of me going out and getting victory over him.
For sure, man. Yeah, and you looked phenomenal in your last fight. Coming in here against, like I said, the guy who just earlier this week was named the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in Bellator. So, do you like that? Do you kind of like going? I'm sure people are counting you out to a certain degree. There's some people that are picking against you, seeing what he does. So, do you like the big challenge like that?
I do.
Yeah.
There's no pressure on me then. I'm the underdog. I'm expected to get killed and murdered and worse than the first time, or who knows, whatever other people think and want to count me out. But that's fine. That's been the story of my life and the story of my Bellator career thus far. There's always going to be the bigger guy, the stronger guy, the faster guy, this guy, that guy. It's all well and good. Short or tall, big or small, they all will fall.
I love it, man. That's great. And I think maybe part of the reason is that you guys fought and you came up on the short end in the first fight. So you've talked a lot about it, but what do you think could go differently this time around? What kind of changes have you made to make this one a win?
Me believing in my greatness, as great and a phenomenal fighter that he is, I know where my potential lies as well too, and he knows that. So I'm going to really let it all loose in there and trust my instincts and believe in my greatness. I know that the first time it was a little more finding my potential and seeing, almost feeling his power, his speed, his strength, his stamina, knowing that at that time he was still, champ and one of the best. And now he just went out to go and prove it at defeating Michael Chandler, becoming a lightweight champ, and then defending his title throughout this run that we're on. And I've had the pleasure of being cage side for all these fights that he's recently had. So I still see those holes. I still see those openings to where I know I can capitalize on. He faced great fighters that had the potential to beat him, but they didn't have the style to beat him. And I know I do.
And I think the one thing, you guys have been intense but cordial through the media and interviews. The one thing that he has said repeatedly is he doesn't think you've gotten any better since the first time you fought. Do you believe that he actually thinks that, or do you think that it's just his way of trying to not get inside your head, but just kind of give you the business a little bit?
It could be,
yeah.
Or perhaps maybe he's inside his own head. Only when that cage door closes will it be shown and will it be seen. But I know I'm a completely different fighter than when we faced the first time, and I needed that defeat in order to be to where I'm at today, as a fighter. With the wisdom that I have, the experience that I bring, he taught me a very valuable lesson. And the very first time that we fought, afterwards, he thanked me. So now I'm looking to return the favor, me getting the victory over him and thanking him for the lesson that he taught me. The arrow's got to be pulled back very far before it can be shot forward. And that's where I'm at now.
Right on. And you got AJ McKee on the other side should you win. So I think a lot of people view Pitbull versus AJ as kind of a grudge match, but you guys kind of have some beef too, right?
Yeah, well, this is like a revenge tour for me. A lot of people remember this, or they forget, or they didn't know, but I was scheduled to face AJ McKee years ago, and that's actually the only fight out of more than 30 fights that I've had that I've ever needed to pull out from because I suffered an injury. And I'm avenging all my losses and I had the hardest road to win this whole Grand Prix. It started with an undefeated cat, taking out 2 guys who have a win over me, and then avenging that loss, that opportunity that I lost, being able to fight him that many years ago, handing him his first defeat, and now I'm excited to be able to do that in the final.
I mentioned the rankings earlier. You're number 2 in the featherweight rankings, and you're the number 9 pound-for-pound fighter. Was that cool to see that? Like, I'm sure you have a lot of confidence in your abilities and where you're ranked, but to see other people kind of give you the credit?
Absolutely. I'm flattered. I'm humbled, but I'm still hunting for that number 1 spot. Hate it or love it, the underdog's on top, and I'm not going to stop until I'm on top. So that's what I'm eyeing and looking to do. And to me, number 1 is really being the champion. So that's what I'm hunting for. He who has the goal makes the rules, right? So that's what I'm looking to be on top.
And if you go out there and you win on Friday, you won't even have to worry about a number. You'll get a C next to your name. How do you do it? How do you get it done in there? What do you have to go out there and do in order to beat Patricio Pitbull?
Trust in my instincts, trust in my spider sense. Really putting him in the matrix, being the matrix matador. I respect his skill. I respect him as a man. I respect him everything that he's done. He's obviously been deemed as by many the greatest Bellator fighter in history, and I'm looking to take him out. And I know I can, whether I stop him or by 5 rounds. We go another 5 rounds, and I prove that I'm a better fighter.